Okay, that's recording.
Oh. Alright, so let's get started. So, you'll see at the top here, it says tell me what you see. So just take a look at the picture, and I'm going to make it bigger for you guys. And you guys just tell me what this picture looks like to you.
I just see a penguin.
Okay.
And a polar bear.
Okay. So, these are icebergs. And at the bottom of the iceberg, there's a big chunk of ice that you can't see. And this is a penguin. And there's a polar bear, and they're on top of the ice. And the reason I chose icebergs is because a lot that goes on with birth is done below the water. It's done in your body, and it's done in your head. And nobody else can see that. So I chose this because I think it's a pretty good description or visual of what birth is like. And oftentimes when you're pregnant, you feel like the penguin, like you're all alone. Nobody gets it.
Mm-hmm.
And all they see is the little hills around you. But you've got all this other stuff beneath the water. So that's why I chose the penguin. And the polar bear represents that when you go into labor, you're not this vulnerable penguin, but you're still pretty vulnerable. You're on an island of your own. You're on your own big piece of ice, per se. So that's what that picture is. So quick introduction. So I'm Demetrius Reiki. I am a local midwife here in Colorado Springs. I've had 5 kiddos. I've had them all in the hospital, but 4 of the 5, I had no medication. So I had an epidural with 1. Yep. So, but I had my little guy, my first one when I was 16, and I started doing labor support for the girls at my school. We went to a community prep school, and everybody there was pregnant. So I became the go-to whenever anybody went into labor. So I fell in love with birth back then. So in 2014, I finished my clinical rounds as a midwife in Utah. So I did quite a few births. I was on call for 32 weeks, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And I worked with certified midwives and nurse midwives. We caught babies in the home and at birth centers. And so right now, I'm licensed here in Colorado, and I'm finishing my bachelor's degree in midwifery. So that's who I am. So we are going to skip through some of these slides. Not some of them, but quite a few. And you guys can stop me anytime you have questions. I really want you guys to just engage. And then there will be a couple of activities that we do too.
So tell us about your grandfish.
The grandfish is doing well. I need to clean his water, but he's doing well. How about that? He's still alive. All right, so we're going to start today with a quick video. What to expect when you arrive at the hospital. You each have notebooks. What I want you to do is, it's 4 minutes long. Don't write a novel, but just jot down things in the video that catches your attention. And then we're going to talk about what was said in the video and what your concerns or anxieties are, or you just want to know more about when you go to the hospital. Okay?
When you're getting closer to the time of delivery, it's good to think about what's going to happen when you arrive at the hospital, and there's actually a couple of things you can do ahead of time that will make it easier once you get there. For example, pre-registration will make it easier so that when you arrive, the staff members aren't bothering you about your insurance information and billing information. You can take care of all of that ahead of time by calling the hospital you're planning on delivering at, and they'll probably ask you for your ID, your insurance information, and basic billing information like address and such. And then you can get that out of the way so that when you come, you're just there to be taken care of. Now, when you come in, what's going to happen is largely going to depend on your circumstances. For example, let's say you're there because you've been having contractions. As soon as you get there, the nurse is going to ask you some questions about your overall health history and like, have you had any surgeries? Do you have any allergies? Are you on any medications? Have you been pregnant before? If so, did you have complications? And of course, there's a lot of other, it's kind of like I tell my patients now it's 50 question time, not even 20 question time. And in the midst of contractions, we still need to talk to you about what's going on because there's important information we need to know in order to take care of you. So if you're there for contractions, we'll monitor you and your baby. The pattern of the baby's heart rate is the best indication we have of how the baby is doing well inside of you. The pattern of the baby's heart rate tells us whether or not they have enough oxygen and if they're doing well. And then, of course, we monitor your contraction pattern, and we'll check your cervix when you get there. And then after all of our assessments are done, we just kind of have to wait and see what happens with you over the course of an hour. Once we've gathered information about you and your baby, then we call the doctor and let them know what's going on. And based on your situation, they'll decide whether or not you're going to be admitted. Your admit tickets to labor and delivery are, number 1, your cervix is changing, which means you're in labor. Number 2, your water is broken. And number 3, something's wrong with you or the baby. So it's best to stick with the first 2 scenarios if possible. If there's anything that we see over the course of our monitoring that causes us to be a little bit concerned, but your cervix isn't changing, your water isn't broken, then of course we just watch you for an extended period of time to decide if anything else needs to be done. You can plan on having an IV. An IV keeps you hydrated because while you're in labor, we don't let you eat or drink, and that may sound funny and a little bit torturous, but it's all for good reason. We never know who's going to have a C-section, and if you've had food in your stomach, then that puts you at greater risk for complications if you've had food recently. So, if you were going to the hospital for a scheduled operation, they call you the night before and tell you not to eat or drink anything after a certain point in time. And because we don't know when a C-section might happen during labor, we just have to basically starve you the entire time. But we do keep you well hydrated through fluids we give you through the IV, and we can also add a little bit of sugar water into it if we need to, if you're in labor for a prolonged period of time, to give you some calories. And of course, it makes sense that your body will work better if it has energy. Most facilities will also let you suck on ice chips, so talk to the nurses at the hospital you're delivering at, and they can tell you what's available to you, just to help you feel a little more comfortable and keep your mouth moist. As discussed previously, monitoring is very important for your baby, and so you can expect to be monitored the entire time from the moment you get there until the moment you deliver the baby. So in summary, what's going to happen at the hospital will largely depend on your circumstances, and your nurses are there to help you along, to talk to you about what's going on, and of course we want to answer any questions that you might have. Your doctor is also available to you before you go into labor, and you can ask them any more specific questions that you might have, or I'd be happy to answer them for you too as well. If you do have any other questions in the future, feel free to ask them on our Facebook page at facebook.com/Intermountain Moms, and recommend us to your friends and family too.
All right, so what stuck out?
No eating.
Let's talk about it.
And no drinking.
Right.
But I do see, I have watched a few videos on YouTube, and then I see moms that have like McDonald's bags next to their bed, and I'm just curious as to, is it just certain hospitals, or is it just
Like
every
what
mother,
your
period?
situation is.
Right. So here in our county, depending on what hospital you're at, some will enforce more than other hospitals. The general rule is no eating, okay? But depending on which of the 3 hospitals you deliver at determines how flexible they'll be. North will allow you to do more than Central will. It also depends on who's on call. So we all know just because you go into labor doesn't mean your doctor is going to deliver your baby, right? Or your midwife, right? So it depends on where you're delivering at. There is new recommendations that came out that says women need to eat during labor. In our county, these hospitals haven't adapted that rule yet. But if you go up to Denver County, they have. So when you go to your next prenatal appointment, it's really important that you ask your physician, what is your philosophy about eating during labor? Okay, because then you can have that conversation. And they might tell you, okay, well, in general, we don't like you to eat if you're having signs of problems. If there's a concern with your baby, maybe they'll allow you to have soups. Maybe they'll allow you to have liquids. Some liquids are better than just water and ice chips, right?
Yeah.
If you can get bone broth, that's really good, high in protein, good fat content, that's going to give you energy, right? So have a conversation with your midwife or your doctor and see what their philosophy is on it. What concerns you if they say no eating?
Passing out. Passing out from really just, I don't know. I know how I am when I don't eat before I got pregnant. And being even pregnant, not just having that snack every now and then, just whether it's a little snack or a meal, it's hard.
Yeah.
It makes you sick, nauseated, and it's real hard to focus, period.
Yep. So again, that's really good thinking, being worried. And let's face it, when you're in labor, you're running a mini marathon. No, you're running a marathon. Your body is working as if it is running in a marathon. They will give you IVs, and that is their thought process. We're giving you, lactated ringers. It's got sugar in it. It's got other electrolytes in it that's going to give you the energy that you need. However, we know that we're going to be hungry.
And it's not enough.
And her comment was, yeah, we're starving you to death. And so, but those are real conversations to have with your OB or your midwife, okay? But it's good to know that now and not finding that out then. Exactly, right?
You'd be like, well, I should have ate a whole feast yesterday.
The last meal, right? Right?
I have one more question.
Yeah, no.
So, when it comes to eating ice chips, what's the difference between taking sips of water and
There's
sipping
no
of ice
difference.
chips?
Less quantity. When you let ice melt, it's like a third of the water content.
Okay.
That's why. Yeah.
Okay.
Are either of you pre-registered at the hospital?
No, and I just wrote that
Yeah, I
down.
don't think so.
I didn't know if the doctors was supposed to tell you to pre-register or, and I was
Yeah,
gonna
like
ask
when
that.
they'll tell you oh well, you're almost ready, so you should do it at this time.
Some of the practitioners here will, most will not.
Okay.
Okay? You can never register too early.
Oh,
Okay.
So go ahead and register. Okay? Because what happens is after 17 weeks, if you go into the hospital for a complication, then what they'll do is, sorry guys, still on call. What they'll do, you get admitted to labor and delivery. So being registered now is a good thing. So you can never register too soon. Okay, you're both over 17 weeks, right? So make sure that you go to your hospital of choice, go ahead and pre-register. There's no harm there. But she makes a very good point. If you pre-register, when you do come in, there's not somebody asking you 50,000 questions about health insurance
and going through contractions.
Exactly.
I cannot talk to you right now.
Exactly. So she makes a very good point there. So you have your notebooks. So make sure that you guys take those notebooks to your doctor's appointments. That's why I gave them to you. And it says secret notes.
Yep.
What about monitoring? Any questions on monitoring?
No, I think it's just all common sense, really. Because, it's just checking up whenever they think that they need a checkup on you. Because anything could happen, really.
I think my only fear would be is if I heard, when you can tell when a hospital monitor goes off and something's wrong. I think that would make my anxiety spark up, even if it's just something as little as my oxygen level being low. I automatically probably think it's the baby, and it'll make me definitely spark up some anxiety.
Right. It's a very valid point both of you make. So the monitors are right next to your bed. So if your bed is right here, the monitors are right here. Because the nurses are usually right here doing their thing, and you're right there, and they're just going like this. They literally, this is what they do. But those monitors can be distracting. And those monitors tell a lot. Your family will begin to figure out that she's getting ready to have another one because they can see that you're going to have a contraction.
Yeah.
Right?
And what does that do? It causes you anxiety, right? Like, don't tell me I'm getting ready to have another one.
I'm gonna feel it.
Right. Baby's heartbeat. Moms are very intuitive, so they will key in if their baby's heart rate goes high or goes low, right? And oftentimes they won't say anything, but if they see a nurse come in the door, the nurses usually are at the monitor to see what's going on, and then they turn and they'll give you instruction to do something. But you already have it in your head that there's something wrong, right? So you can request that the monitors be turned down, because the nurses sit at a triage station that has monitors, and they're watching you out there, okay? So you can ask them to turn it down to an audible level that isn't distracting to you, and they'll do that. They'll do that. Any questions on IVs? Okay.
No.
All right. Good questions, guys. So before we talk about that, let's go back one. All right. Have you guys thought about your hospital bags?
Yeah.
Good job. We got 50% yes, 50% no.
I'm like, no, I didn't think I was that far yet.
That's okay. Remember, once you hit that 17-week mark, it's okay to start doing little bits at a time.
Okay.
Don't be afraid. And then you'll feel well prepared at the end. You'll feel really well prepared. So this is a nice photograph that kind of gives you an idea. It has some extra stuff on here, but it has some stuff that you might not think of. So, you've got the bag, of course, but they have straws up here. They have mints. They have a nursing gown, Vaseline or lip balm. Very, very, very important. Camera. Your ISO devices, whether it be phone, iPad. For partners, I recommend that they have their phone and their phone chargers and whatever games they like to play downloaded. And I hate to say that, but if you decide to have an epidural and there's a resting period, sometimes they have to unwind.
Yeah.
They're just as tense and worried and stressed as you are. So for them to have a little game to kind of take their mind off while you sleep is helpful.
Yeah, definitely.
Is helpful. Slippers, a boppy, change of underwear. Now, let me show you guys what y'all are going to get at the hospital. Now, these are the sexiest thing God ever invented.
Oh, I know there's a little undies, huh?
Yes.
They are comfortable.
And I'm trying to find, I just had to figure out one day. I call them Victoria's Secrets or Memorial Secrets. It's just So, yes, you can bring your underwear, but I call these Memorial Secrets. Memorial Secrets. Okay? They are mesh panties, but they are fantastic post-birth. They are fantastic post-birth. They're very, very comfortable, and you don't have to worry about ruining your own underwear.
Yeah.
Okay? So, partners oftentimes are like, what are those? Right? They're like, and you're like, baby, this is the best booty shorts ever created. Yes. So you can take your own undies, but I strongly recommend bring your underwear for when you want to go home, but enjoy these. Okay? You will really watch. You're going to be like,
So they give you those?
Yes.
Okay.
They give you these.
Do they give you a certain number of pair? Be like, you gotta hand wash these?
They usually give you
One pair.
They usually give you two.
Okay.
So I would recommend asking for more, or if they're pretty cheap, they're like $2. You can ask me, I can order some for you.
Okay.
But you can hand wash them and reuse them.
Okay.
Most people, I don't know, some people do, some people don't, but it's okay. Nursing pads.
Mm-hmm.
So nursing pads, if you haven't thought about getting those, Lanolish is a nipple cream that moms tend to use to help for soothing and soreness and cracking. So nursing bras, think about getting good nursing bras because you're not going to be able to wear your cute Victoria's Secret bras.
I'm already wearing my nursing.
There you go. Yep. Yeah. Yep. So, your nursing cross, really important. Journals, some people keep a journal. Money. So the cafeterias do accept cards, but after the cafeteria closes, pretty much everything you find is vending machine. Or if you decide to order in, take out food. So cash and cards, make sure you have that. Things for baby. So blankets, you're having a winter baby, your baby's coming late spring, so we have no idea what that weather can look like. So you'll want to have a bag for both, cold and hot, because it can be 100 degrees the day before, right? And then 20 degrees the next day. So you'll want to prepare that way. The hospital will provide you with a pack of diapers and a pack of wipes. Are you both doing disposable, or is anybody going to do cloth?
Disposable.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm gonna go to the
No, you're fine.
Definitely disposable.
Okay.
I don't care.
I heard some good things about the cloth.
Cloth diapers are not what they used to be.
Money.
Yeah, they do. And they're not what they used to be. And I have some samples here if you want to look at them and see what they look like, Kalia.
Yeah, I've seen them, and I actually used to babysit a boy, and he had cloth diapers, and I just don't feel comfortable with it. I don't want to.
That's fine. No, and I'm glad you said it's personal preference. And so, yeah, if you feel like, hey, I really want these, great. If not,
Water bill would be hard.
not really. They go on a light cycle. And you don't use detergent, you use baking soda and something else. So you don't use, because you don't want them to get rashes on their thumbs.
Yeah.
So you need it to be some natural stuff. But diaper ointment, but paste, I know that you use that. And oils if you so wish. Another example I have for you is sorry, I should have took this out.
No, you're fine.
So olive oil.
Oh, I love olive oil.
Yeah, so olive oil for two reasons. One, it's really good for baby skin. I'm gonna hold that thought while she's in the bathroom because I really want to talk about skin and then using this.
Okay.
And then pack stuff for your partner. So a change of underwear, socks, clothes, pack something for your partner. I oftentimes say, if you tell them to pack it, it'll never happen. So make sure that you pack for him as well.
Do they usually have do the rooms? Do they usually have showers?
There is a shower yep. So in every birth room there is a shower. And very few of the rooms have tubs in them.
Okay.
So, but they all have walk-in showers. So dads oftentimes shower in the room.
Okay.
And it's not a big deal, no matter if you're in the labor room or if you're upstairs and on the mom baby floor.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was just wanting to make sure because I would hate to be in labor and then he's ready to relax and just put on some comfy clothes.
Yes.
And I'm like, oh, I don't want you to leave.
Yes.
And I want you to be comfortable so
Yes.
we can finish this off.
Yep.
I was curious about that.
Yep. So they have showers. They have a fold-out bed. So they have a little couch that's against the wall. They Memorial North. It comes out to a bed.
Okay.
And then they have the big chair that you pull out and you make into a bed, one or the other.
Okay.
So they'll always have a place to rest. The nurse will supply extra pillows, blankets, sheets, whatever they need.
Okay.
So, so that he can be comfortable. And you're right, a lot of times you don't want them to leave. You don't want to be left alone.
Okay.
So that's a very valid point. So just make sure that you pack stuff for him at least 2 days,
Okay.
just in case. And then car seat. Can't forget the car seat. You got to have the car seat, right? So Kalia was just asking questions about the hospital rooms. Have either of you done tours of the hospital? No. So the tours are free. So you can tour your hospital for free. And I recommend that you do. Because they'll tell you this is where you come in at, if it's during the daytime, if it's at night, this is where you come. That kind of thing. You'll get to see what the room looks like. It'll take away some of that anxiety you were talking about. So do a tour of your hospital.
Do you just call, like, set it up, or can you just, like, walk in and be like, hey,
If you go onto Memorial's website, because you both are delivering at Memorial, but just different locations, there's a health link, and they tell you different classes,
okay.
tours, it's on there.
Oh, okay.
Yep. So olive oil is something I recommend putting in your diaper bag, your baby's bag. 2 reasons. So baby's first poop is really thick and tarry, the meconium.
Mhm.
And if you put olive oil, organic olive oil on their bum, it doesn't stick to their bottom. So you're not having to be aggressive with baby wipes to get their bums clean. It just sloughs right off into their diaper. And then instead of using lotions, a lot of moms won't use lotions until their skin starts to peel, and even then they just do the olive oil. And believe it or not, it works great, but just something to think about.
Okay.
Either way, you can do whatever you want, Johnson's & Johnson's, Magic, whatever you choose. Totally up to you. So I was just telling Kalia, make sure that you pack a bag for your partner. If you tell him to pack, it might not happen.
Yeah, I think you're right about
Yeah, and so make sure you pack a bag for him. Any questions on this slide, guys?
that. Because I know if I told him, pack your bag, he would
Mhm.
forget his darn toothbrush or something.
Right? Right? So if we talk about packing it for them, then it takes away that. And they're, believe it or not, they can be calm and mellow on the outside, and on the inside, they are just racing because they don't know what to do.
Mm-hmm.
So one last thing for them to do. Okay. So informed consent. Are either of you aware of what this means? Not a trick question. It's like yay, no.
Oh, yeah.
But informed consent. Okay. So informed consent. So when you're in the hospital, we need to think about a couple things. Just because you're having a baby doesn't mean that the person or persons who are taking care of you can do things to you without your permission. Now, we may think like, that would never happen. That happens all the time. Okay? And it happens in multiple situations. So it's not just having a baby. You could just be going to the doctor's office or a headache. And they're like, hey, we want to do this. And in your head, you're like, well, I don't want to do that. But they tell you that's what you're going to do, and you do it anyways. But you didn't feel good about it. But they didn't tell you why it needs to be done. You know, that happens all the time. You go to the dentist, and they're like, oh, well, you've got 7 cavities. So we need to fill all 7. Okay, great. Well, what happens, doctor, if I choose not to? But what if you don't ask that question?
Yeah.
Okay? If you don't ask the question, do they voluntarily give you that information?
No.
Right. So informed consent. So no person should give you a pelvic exam or manipulate your cervix without your prior consent. So the hospital setting is a little different. When you get to the hospital, the first thing they're going to tell you is we want to do a cervical check. How do y'all feel about that?
I would be like, why?
I think it's gonna hurt being pregnant, and I don't know. I wouldn't know how it's gonna feel.
It isn't comfortable. Okay? And then you have this complete stranger all up in your business. And they're doing it to tell you whether you're dilated or not. Well, what if you don't want to know that? What if that's not important to you?
What's important? It's contraction, in my attitude.
You have to think
do you
about what's
have
important.
do you have like this may be a dumb question, but do you have the right to say, hey, like I don't want to be checked for dilation at this moment?
You have the right to refuse anything they offer you in the hospital.
Okay.
You have the right to refuse it. You have the right to refuse them putting in an IV.
Okay.
You have the right to say, I want the lock, I don't want a full IV. In 12 hours, if my baby's not here, then I'll take an IV. But I just ate. I had a feast before I came, and I'm well hydrated. So I'll take the lock, and if I don't have my baby in 12 hours, then I'll take the IV, because I know that my body needs it. Like, you can tell them that. And it's okay.
Okay. So again, oftentimes in labor, a hospital professional walks in and they just tell you what they're going to do. You have the right to ask why, and you have the right to say no. Okay? No person should be pressured into attempting induction unless it's medically necessary. Everybody gets induced. How many of your friends have been induced?
Probably just 2.
I had many.
They had to get induced because they had the diabetes,
Gestational diabetes.
Mm-hmm.
How big were their babies?
I don't remember. Yeah, I don't remember how big.
How about you, Claire?
I probably had like 2 friends that haven't had to be induced,
But everybody else.
but everybody else has to get induced. So it's like, that's a fear of mine because I'm like, oh my gosh, everybody's getting induced. Why? I know not that many pregnancies or people have issues. Like, what's going on? Are they just trying to hurry up and speed up your labor so you can get out of there? Or it's
And
always
that's-
been a question.
Mm-hmm. And that's what this comes back to, unless it's medically necessary. So a lot of times what happens, moms hit 40 weeks, and they're like, schedule your induction on Monday. 40 weeks on Monday, we don't have this baby on Monday. That's what a lot of it is. But guess what? The average first-time pregnancy goes for 41 weeks in 2 days. There's no need for it. If your baby sounds good, your baby is moving, and you're doing well, you don't have to. You can say no. Now, some doctors will get upset, okay? But you should never feel bullied. And if you're feeling bullied by your OB, having a doula will help prevent that. Okay? So it's something to think about. Doulas really are a good voice. A good doula will sit in front of the physician and go, she would like to go to 41 weeks. We would like to see you make that happen for her. Then you're not feeling like, I don't want to say I don't want to do this. You're not feeling bullied. You know, you're like, she's talking
Yeah,
to
like
me.
they take advantage of you.
Yeah, because you're very vulnerable,
Mm-hmm.
right? So that's another place where doulas work out really well. Or just,
I'm sorry.
yes, they will go to your 2 prenatal appointments with you.
Okay. Do you pick which 2, or is it like usually like your last
Sometimes
2,
they ask.
or-
Sometimes they'll tell you we want to go to your 36th week and your 37th week. They'll tell you what they want to do to
Okay.
your doctor. So it just depends on the doula.
Okay.
No person should break your water or give you an episiotomy, cutting your perineum without telling you first. Okay? So if somebody goes to do a vaginal exam and go, oh, look, your water broke. Did it break? Or did you break it? Episiotomy. You guys know what that is?
No.
So, an episiotomy is when the physician says your baby needs to come out now, and what they decide to do is, so this is my cloth vagina. This is Elvis the pelvis. I don't know why it has boy name, but it's got girl parts. So this is my cloth vagina, but they cut the perineum. That's what episiotomy is. Mm-hmm. And so, unless it is absolutely necessary, that shouldn't happen. It's not medically necessary. And even when it is medically necessary, sometimes it doesn't help.
So do they cut it just to break the water?
No, they'll cut it to get
make
baby
room.
out, to make room. That's their logic behind it is we need to make room, so we're going to cut an episiotomy. So talk to your physician and ask. I was 16 when I asked my OB, do you do episiotomies? Because I don't want one.
How do you spell
Yeah.
that?
Yeah, right.
No. We're not doing this.
Yes. Yes.
Girl, you can write this down. Don't be scared of it.
Right. The thing about episiotomies is they don't heal as well. And it's painful. And when you have subsequent babies, a lot of times that same spot will care over and over and over again.
Oh.
So
Thank you.
yes. So you want to ask them what is their feeling on episiotomies. You have the right to refuse any treatment that you feel is not in you or your baby's best interest. Okay? So remember, your body, your baby, your choice. And no person should rush you to make a decision. So, like that example I gave earlier, the doula will say, listen to what the doctor is saying, and the doula will say, could you give us 5 minutes so that as a family we can have a discussion? It's not in the doula's place to tell you what to do, it's in her place to explain to you what the medical staff is saying, and then for you and your partner to make a decision on whether or not you want to do something or not.
Yeah, instead of them just like staring at you, like waiting for your response.
So I had a mom who had a
Pressuring
hospital
you.
birth. In September, we were at the hospital for 29 hours, and there was quite a few of those moments where the doc came in, said, this is what I feel, and I said, okay, great, thank you. Do you mind if I have a conversation with the family, and then I will let you know what they decide to do? Explain to them what the doctor said, and then we would leave, come back, and they would say, this is what we want. So as long as baby's fine and you're fine, there's no pressure. There should be no pressure. Okay. So, here are things to ask. A lot of times you'll see with doulas, they use this acronym BRAIN. So ask yourself benefits, risks, alternatives, intuition, and need. So benefits. If a physician says they want to give you a C-section, what's the benefit? My baby is sick. Let's have a C-section. My baby needs to be born so my baby can be healthy, right? Maybe mom is sick. Maybe you're having blood pressure problems. Maybe you're having other issues, gestational diabetes, right? What are the benefits of getting this baby out by induction? What are the risks for taking that baby out or having that induction? Okay? If you have gestational diabetes, there are risks to both mom and baby, right?
Yes.
So we need to look at, do the benefits outweigh the risks, or do the risks outweigh the benefits? Okay? And I hope that you guys take that acronym and over the rest of your pregnancy, everything that's recommended to you, you think about it. What are my benefits? What are the risks? What's the alternative? Like food. We talked about food, right? Ice chips. Well, what can I have instead of? Can I have bone broth? I don't want those packet ramen noodle packets. I want bone broth. It's got protein in it. It's got fats. It's got amino acids. Like, I want to put good stuff into my body, but I know that you won't let me eat. Will you allow me to drink that? Okay? Ask for alternatives. Okay, well, since I can't have anything to eat, can I have Labor Aid? And Labor Aid is just a combination of electrolytes and salts in a drink, you know? So let's ask for alternatives. Intuition. What does your gut tell you? Are you feeling like, I don't want to do this, this isn't right? If your gut is telling you that and it's loud, you need to go back here. What's the benefit? If the benefit doesn't outweigh the risk, why are you doing it? Okay? Need. Is it necessary? Is it necessary to be induced? Because you're 40 weeks? That's our reason. You're 40 weeks. Trust me, Vince, when you get to 40 weeks, you're going to be like, I'm so tired. I'm so tired of being tired. Yeah. You're going to be
Take the
tired.
baby out.
And you do. That's what moms do. They're like, take it. Okay. Is that necessary? Because think about it. You have more days behind you in pregnancy than you have ahead of you. Your baby is going to come out. And you only have that much window left. Look at all the time you have behind you. So is an induction necessary?
Like, wouldn't you want the baby to still be inside, like, still trying to get what they need before they come out?
Right. As long as baby is in the womb, we know baby is getting everything that he or she needs. And they're still growing.
Yeah.
So let's encourage.
It's like saying, could I induce you now? You're 24 weeks. Like, no, what in the world?
Exactly.
It's not done yet.
Right. Why is it that we don't have that same reaction when we're 40 weeks?
Yeah, exactly.
Everybody's just tired.
It's still the same thing, even though you're like so much closer, but you're not quite close. Well, you are, because you want the baby out, but the baby isn't.
I think it's all a mental thing for moms. They're just like,
I'm done. I am so done.
I'm
Yeah,
tired.
right.
I did it this long. Like,
Mhm.
And then
The
people
baby's
asking
fine.
you still pregnant? Oh, you're
Yeah.
still pregnant? Oh,
I would be like, get out of my
you
face.
poor thing. You know, people are,
activated on my Facebook and everything.
Yeah.
right? What did I tell you? If people ask you, you say what? You don't give them a
Oh,
day.
yeah, I don't.
Don't give them a day.
Nope.
No, don't give them a day. Don't bring that pressure onto yourself because, and as it's an estimate, it doesn't guarantee that's the day your baby's going to be born.
Yeah, because you never know. He or she might want to come early. He or she want to come late. Like, you know, it's not up to the mother or the doctor.
Right. So empower yourself and know to ask yourself these things. So, what's the procedure? What are the benefits of the procedure? What are the risks of the procedure? Are there alternative therapies? If nothing is done, then what happens? Right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you decide you're at term, you're at 40 weeks, and the doc's like, we want to induce you, and you say no, and they're like, but you're 40 weeks, you need to ask, staying pregnant, how does that hurt me? And how does that hurt my baby?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Empower yourself.
Don't tell me.
Right?
You have to think back in the day too, like
Right?
did the doctors back in the day or whenever they were say, hey, it's time? No, they just waited.
Yep,
until the
they
baby said,
did.
okay, I'm ready.
So now we're going to get to some fun stuff, which I'll have been waiting for.
It's so cool.
It is delicious. Eat, drink, and be merry.
But I didn't know that. Well, I did see the camera. And I was back and I was like, forget it.
All right. So this video is 10 minutes long. We're going to watch it. And we're going to do the same thing that we did with the last video. A little different. This is in a hospital. It's a birth center. But I want you guys to take your notebook, open it, and have likes or dislikes or risks or benefits. However, whatever's in your mind. Don't let me define that for you. Just like a positive or negative. And then we're going to do a comparison, and we're going to talk about that experience. Okay? You might as well leave it open.
Because I ain't going to be like another piece like 2 minutes. So I'm just going to put this on top of these books. Let me know if you want long ago.
Only memories are left for me to hold. Don't know how, but I'll get by. There's no escape to keep me safe, to feel so unreal. Nothing comes easily, filled with empty space. Nothing is like it seems. Turn my grief to grace. I feel the cold, loneliness unfold, like from another world. Come what may, I won't fade away. I know I might change. Nothing comes easily. Feel this nothing is like it was. Turn my nothing comes easy. Where do nothing can bring me peace. I've lost I just wanna see your I want to feel the pressure of my earthing waves. I love you. I love you. So, when you're ready, you get in the water, all in, careful, not in push, and I was ready to make a okay? Katrina's gonna get you. Alex, you should
Right. So what are some of the things you guys were able to jot down?
Okay, the likes that I do, there's not any dislikes that I did have actually. So the likes that I did have was the calm, supportive environment when she first started laboring. Everybody was there and they was all calm, supportive. They were showing her nothing but love.
Right.
No bathing her feet. I don't know if it's like, I don't know the purpose behind it, but I liked it.
Mm-hmm.
I liked how she was able to labor at home, like how she started laboring at home.
Right.
And then I think she felt the need to go when it was time to go.
Yep.
But it looked like she tried to stay at home for the most part as
She did.
possible.
Mm-hmm.
And the skin to skin bonding time after she delivered the baby, it was a lot of skin to skin bonding. You didn't rarely see any pictures from the baby leaving her other than when it was time to check the baby's breathing and all that. And that's something you don't get like at hospitals. You know, they want to take the baby right away and go run tests and do this and do that. You don't have that skin to skin bonding. It's a quick lay. Okay, time to take the baby. So I like that. That's not a dislike. It made me cry. That's a dislike.
You want to add anything to that? I like the fact that she's listening to music.
Mm-hmm.
I'm probably just gonna have it out loud. I don't care if people don't like my music or what. Like, I'm gonna have music.
Right.
And I'm probably gonna have the lights dim.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because I can't deal with
All that stimulus.
Yeah, like this, I can't do that.
Yeah. Yep. It's a lot of stimulus. Right. You know, a couple of things. The hospitals do put baby, as long as baby is good, they'll put baby immediately skin to skin. And they'll do the first assessment on your skin. So if baby's doing well, they will give you those first few moments before they take the baby to a warmer. It isn't immediate at the hospital. Definitely not like it used to be. Okay, so as long as baby looks well, crying, color and tone looks good, you'll have baby skin to skin. Okay, but there are a lot of people involved. There are a lot of hands involved.
So it's a little more, it's not, it can look like that in the hospital. I don't want to say it doesn't, it can. It just depends on the team, your OB, your nurses, if you have additional support in your family. Okay, so it can. I oftentimes tell moms, envision what you want your birth to look like. If you envision it that way, most of the time, we can create that. Sometimes you have to change the venue, and that's okay. Things might not roll out like we planned it, but, you can still have that same feeling, even through a cesarean, because a cesarean is still giving birth, okay? We don't want to say that it's not. It is. You're still giving birth. Just a change of venue. That's all.
She took it well. She's like so calm.
Yeah. And that's something I love sharing with people, to say you can do the same thing in the hospital. You absolutely can be that calm and that relaxed with the right team, even in the hospital. Okay? So, comfort measures. What was she doing for comfort?
I was gonna ask, I think I put it down. Was that a scarf to relieve pressure that was around?
That's called a rebozo.
Rebozo.
A rebozo. And a rebozo actually comes from our Latin heritage. And so rebozos are used in labor and birth to provide support, to relieve tension and pain. And they can be used around the hips. They can be used around the belly. They can be used to help reposition baby. They can be used for a lot of things. You can use them when you're pushing. It's like a tug of war. They're great pieces of fabric. You can wear your baby with a rebozo, so you can actually wrap your baby and wear your baby with a rebozo. Most of your doulas carry them in their bags.
Okay.
So, yep. And that orange, that yellow funny looking ball that she was laying on, not the round one, but the one that was on the bed, it's called a peanut ball. It's in the hospital. And you see it used a lot with moms who have epidurals. And it helps to bring the baby down. It opens the hips. Yeah. We use it in home births and birth centers, but you see it too in the hospital.
Okay.
It looks like a minion. That's what it looks like.
I remember my aunt used it, but they put it in between her legs because the baby was in her head.
Mm-hmm.
But she got induced, so they're like forcing her out, and the baby's like, no, I'm not coming out. They're all forcing me.
Yep. And those balls.
Trying to move her around.
Mm-hmm. She also was in the tub.
Yes, I remember one.
Mm-hmm. She was also in the tub. Her husband, partner, was applying pressure to her body. Maybe I saw this side. They used the rebozo as well. There are numerous things that your support team can do to help reduce your discomfort if you don't have your epidural yet, or you don't have pain management yet. Okay. How about the emotional support? You talked about that a little bit.
It was pretty good to me. Very calm, that's all.
Yeah.
When you're going through labor, that's what you need is calm.
Yeah.
You can tell the room was just filled with love.
Yeah.
There was no negative. As she was in pain and labor, and you didn't see anyone panicking.
Yeah, they were just
everybody was just calm and it was just a very calm environment, which I think made it easier for her. That's why we don't see her in there crying. And
she's just in her own little.
Yeah.
Which goes back to our previous conversation about being reactive to those who are around you.
Yeah.
See how calm her partner was?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And the other voice was her doula. That was touch your baby, Allie. That was her doula. So you can even hear it in her voice, the reassuring, the encouragement, and the calmness, right? So, so a couple of things that we want to encourage is definitely talking and learning about comfort measures, which is done in a different class. Emotional support. Emotional support is important through your whole pregnancy, but it is magnified when you're in labor. And it's magnified when you're in an environment that's new to you, with different people coming in and out of your space, right? So you really need your support people to reassure you that you're safe and you're doing well and the process is perfect. Even though it might look painful or there might appear to be a lot of discomfort, they just need to encourage you that you're doing a good job. physically you're ready to run a marathon.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So it's important to have good sleep. And at the end of pregnancy, sleep is hard. It is not easy. But there are some old wives' tales out there, like, go run around the park. Get those contractions going.
Oh my goodness.
You're not going to get those contractions going. What you're going to do is exhaust yourself, and your body is not going to go into labor. And then you're going to have a problem at the hospital. You're going to get Pitocin. And then you're going to start that cascade that we've talked about. Okay? The correct answer is don't go run. Go to bed. Go to sleep. The uterus is a muscle. So if you let it relax, it's going to work more efficient. Okay? When you're tense and you're tired, your body's not going to work as well. Could you imagine running a marathon like this?
Yeah.
Oh,
You would
yeah.
make it. You would make it, right?
Yeah.
Runners are relaxed.
Yeah, and they just go with the flow.
Yes. Yeah, so it's the same thing. You need to think about the same thing. Nutrition, we touched on about what we're going to ask, what we can and cannot do.
I noticed she was drinking juice. And stuff.
Yes.
Mhm.
Make sure that if you're laboring at home, as long as you can, that you're eating and drinking to tolerate. You might feel nauseous, and that's okay. When you're in labor, the digestive system actually stops.
Oh,
So moms are like, I can't eat anything.
yeah.
No, thank you. Or they're like, oh man, that cheeseburger sounds really good.
Mhm.
And I always say, okay, great. We'll get you a cheeseburger. I just want you to remember that might come back up. So is there a different choice?
Yeah.
Would you like a
You don't want
smoothie?
it.
Right.
Yeah.
Would you like a smoothie instead? Because that's not going to be as violent coming back out, right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
And so, moms will go, oh, I didn't think about that.
Yeah.
I'll have a smoothie instead, you know?
Yeah.
So think about that, and then hydration. So again, uterus being a muscle, your body being full of muscle mass, you need to be hydrated. If you're dehydrated before your full term, you'll have preterm labor issues, okay? A dehydrated body causes a uterus to get irritated, which causes preterm labor. So you have to stay hydrated.
Problems with drinking water.
She just had a bad UTI.
Water in itself can be nauseating, so I recommend that you find something else to drink.
Like I never really drank water before I was pregnant.
I
and,
showed
like
her
it's
this.
just like
That's what I sent you a picture of, and I told
Yeah.
you to get it for your water.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Plant-based, and again, you're not drinking plain water. You're gonna get some good electrolytes and some good nutrients out of this.
it's not expensive.
And so definitely try other things. There's different flavors. So at the health food store, you can get sample packets for pretty cheap, like 69 cents or something like that, until you find a flavor that you like.
oh okay.
There's different flavors. But definitely, if you're struggling with hydration, because sugary drinks just dehydrate you. So if you're struggling there, try a sample pack of this and see how you like the taste. That's the most important. But UTIs will also cause preterm labor. So staying hydrated is really important. And then we cannot forget about our partners, their role that they play. They're so important. It's a unit, so it's important that they're incorporated into your birth plan and they're incorporated into the birth process. Sometimes dad will sit off in the corner because the other family members won't allow him to come in.
That's not how it works. I'm gonna be like,
Yep, so just be mindful that they are important in the process as well. And as demonstrated in the video, he was with her a good chunk of the time.
Mm-hmm. I like that.
Yeah.
yeah.
So let's talk about early labor. So early is what we call latent labor. Variable but substantial periods after labor begins. So when labor truly begins, latent can go on 4 days. There's a difference between what we call false labor, which has a term, it's called prodromal labor, means nothing's happening to the cervix, and it starts and it stops. Early labor can go on for a day or 2, sometimes 3. You're having very regular contractions. There is cervical change, but it's that time where things are not moving fast. Okay? So it will vary in length. So just know that it can be long or short. Most of the time for first-time moms, it's longer. And can be irritating. Think about doing contractions every 4 to 5 minutes for 2 days. You know, you will start to feel discouraged. You know, but just know that that's normal. It's not abnormal. It's normal. So contractions can start in your back. They can feel like just backaches, and you can feel pain in your thighs. And that, a lot of times moms don't recognize that.
Is that like the period? Like,
Kind of, yeah. Yep, into your back and down to your upper thighs. That achiness that you get. And then you can have menstrual-like cramps, and they don't put it together that, oh, maybe something's going on.
Until it starts getting really strong.
And they notice that there's a rhythm.
Oh, okay.
And sometimes the rhythm doesn't come right away. Because a lot of times first time moms are like, oh, well, I just have these like period-like cramps for 2 days. And you're like, really? When exactly did that start? Tell me more about that. Right, exactly. Exactly.
Like, do you get them, like, right now? I do feel them sometimes.
If you are feeling them now, more than likely it's because of your issue with fluids and your urinary issues.
Oh.
So keep drinking. Because once you get out of this and you get into active labor, it's really hard for doctors to get it to stop.
Oh.
And you don't want your baby to come too early. Yeah. So they'll have these crampings, and then they always tell me, I get this, I don't know, this tight, my baby's butt is sticking out on one side. Or I feel like my baby is just like this one, just on one side of my belly. And I'm like, anything else going on? Yeah, and I have these cramps. And I'm like, those are contractions. Those are contractions. That's not even a braxton. And they'll come in the office and I'll go, okay, feel. And they're like, that's what that is? And I'm like, your whole belly is tight. And yeah, that's what that is.
I think that happens to me.
It's your whole belly. But these contractions don't last long. They last 15 to 20 seconds. So you'll feel it come on. It's gradual, and you'll feel it gradually go away.
Yeah.
But when you're full term, after 37 weeks, and you're feeling that, they should come every 10, 20 minutes. And sometimes in the earlier part, they might not be so frequent, but you're noticing, hey, I've had 4 in the last hour. Oh, another hour went by. I still had 4.
Yeah.
I had one mom who was on bed rest who she timed her contractions by the commercials in her TV shows. So she was like, I had 7 contractions in 30 minutes.
Smart.
Yeah, right? Because she didn't want to be focused on an app or anything, so she decided, well, I'm going to watch my shows and see. Yeah, exactly. So she watched her TV shows, and she was like, 7.5 hours. Thank you. But there is cervical change at this point, so about 3 to 4 cm. Okay? And know your baby's not just going to come out at 3 or 4 centimeters, I promise. Active is active. It's different. You're going to dilate faster. So we call active from 6 to 10 centimeters. Early labor is from closed to 5 centimeters. Okay? Your contractions are regular, so they could be every 3 to 5 minutes, and they will last 60 to 90 seconds. Okay? And you're going to feel those. You're going to feel them. You'll feel them gradually build. You'll feel them peak, and you'll feel them go away. Okay? The beauty about labor is it's not constant, and you get breaks. You get lots of them. So if you think about every contraction, okay, I just finished that one, and now I get a break. That's how you can kind of encourage yourself.
Make yourself
Yes.
kind of calm down.
Yeah.
Instead of like over and over, like so fast, and you're like, I can't take this anymore.
Right. And just keeping in mind that the body is built that way. It's built to give you breaks in between. If it were constant, it wouldn't be tolerable.
Yeah.
You know? There's a lot going on. Baby's still moving during this time period. You tend to go into labor land, so it's hard to speak. People will ask you questions, and you'll go, I don't know.
Yeah.
Are you thirsty? I don't know.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's hard for your family to understand why she's saying, I don't know. Well, that's because her left and right side of her brain are focusing to get this baby out. She cannot give you an answer. She's not being difficult. She cannot give you an answer.
Like
And-
physically.
right. So if you just take that cup with a straw, she'll open her eyes and she'll suck down whatever's in front of her, right? So it's, again, learning those signs and symptoms of what mom is doing, right? So, all right, so this is a mama that I had who had a sweet home birth, but the second stage, so that was the first stage. So the first stage of labor is 0 to 10 centimeters, okay? The second stage of labor is the birth of your baby. So this is a water birth. This is the second stage, but this stage is really quite different. So you've been having these contractions, and now it's time for you to have a baby, okay? Everybody who's pregnant has to cross a gate, okay? Everybody has to cross this physical and mental gate, and they have to come to this place of understanding that there's a passenger and there's a power. The power is the contractions. Every time you have a contraction, your body is physically pushing your baby down to help get your baby out. But that passenger also has power, and that passenger, which is the baby, is also doing what we call cardinal movements, is moving to get his or her way out. It isn't just you. It's mama and baby. It takes two. Okay, so babies do some acrobatic stuff to come out.
Yeah.
They're not just laying there and you're doing
But
the
they're
work.
like, I'm helping you, I swear.
They are. They are. They're doing all kinds of things. And we call them cardinal movements. So the power of your contractions are not in vain. The power of your contractions are to do one thing, and that is to open the cervix. Okay? The passenger then has to do his or her work to come out, such as right here. And then you have another gate you have to cross. Well, then there's the passage. So you have the powers, you have the passenger, but now you have the passage. That baby has to come through the canal and out into the earth. Say, hello world, hello world, right? So if you don't have the power, you can't get the passenger to go through the passage. It doesn't work, okay? That's where we begin to question induction. You said it, well, baby's not ready.
Yeah.
So why are we forcing baby out?
When
Right.
it's meant to have the baby, like, know when to come out.
Right. And so the last P is our psyche. It's our mental status. And that's when we change. Like moms can't talk. They oftentimes have their eyes closed.
Mm-hmm.
They are checked out, okay? Because they're in this place of work that nobody else around them understands or can feel. I can relate because I've had 5 kids,
Yeah.
but I don't remember what that place feels like.
Yeah, because it was the moment in time.
Exactly. So the psyche is very important because if a mother is not mentally in a place to push her baby out, she more than likely won't be able to push her baby out. Okay? So again, it goes back to what kind of environment are we having? What kind of support team do we have? What are our desires for our labor? What are our desires for our birth? What are our desires for our baby? If you have a problem at the psyche level, you're not going to be able to produce the powers or the passenger to go through the passage. It doesn't work. Okay? Any questions on that? Cool. So this is a cool little activity, and we are almost done. This is called a land breath. Like a mix. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So when labor starts, everybody enters the same place. We all have a venue, whether it be the hospital, whether it be the birth center, whether it be at home. We all enter at the same place. But how we get to our baby looks different for every single body. Okay? And so what we're going to do in this activity is I'm going to hand this to you, Kalia, but what I want you to do is just close your eyes, and I want you to enter the passage and just don't think about anything.
Close through it.
Yeah, just go through it, and then we're going to talk about what that feels like. And then we're going to hand it off to you. It's very interesting.
Okay.
Very interesting. And sometimes people are like,
they'll be like, "What? Why is it taking so long?" That's okay to say that.
Like, that's exactly
yeah.
Because I'm looking at it and I'm like,
That's
Yeah.
like going through labor.
Exactly.
So,
Right. So if you have a thought that's like, did I just go back here? It's okay to say it. It's totally okay to say it. Yep, totally okay to say it.
Can I turn it?
Yeah. Yeah, if you got to enter here. So,
Okay.
yep. So just close your eyes.
So close.
That's right. That's okay. Yep. We all have those
That's
oopses.
awesome.
Yes. You're doing great.
Running around town. I just went in a whole circle.
Yeah. You felt like you went through a whole circle.
Yeah.
Yeah. How does it make you feel? Do you feel certain?
No,
Uncertain?
I'm really uncertain. Like, well, when am I gonna get to the ending? Kind of feels like, oh, this isn't gonna stop no time soon.
So you might as
I
well
feel like
take
when
your
it is
time.
gonna stop, you start right back over.
Uh-huh.
You see where
That's
I'm at
okay.
now? You start right back over. It's all a trick.
It's all a trick. Yeah.
And it's all definitely mental.
Mm-hmm.
Like, okay. Cause you do feel like you're fixing to be at the stopping point, and you're not just quite there yet. So I guess that takes in the part with dilating.
Yes.
Feel like you're almost there,
But
you're not
and then
there.
they check you and you're only like 3 and you're like, eh?
Yeah, but you're not there.
How do you feel about trust?
No trust is bored.
Mm-hmm.
At all. I really gotta sit and open my eyes and examine it. Because
But that's the thing, that you're going through labor blindly.
yeah,
Exactly.
not knowing what to expect.
That's right. So you can.
So you might as well just be calm with the whole situation to make it a little bit better, you know?
There's probably not a single part of this board that I'm not going to touch.
There's a good chunk that you haven't touched.
Really? Doesn't
Yes.
feel like it.
Uh-huh. Yep.
Uh-oh. Oh, never mind. That was going towards the middle. I was like, I'm getting there.
Oh my god.
Okay. I felt it.
You made a lot
long.
of valid points. You're like, I don't trust this board.
Yeah.
But again, you can't trust her. You don't know what direction it's going to take you in.
No.
You made a very good point. So why rush? I might as well take my time.
Yeah, and just,
Yeah. Because you get to
I
this
guess
corner
you
and
can't
like,
say enjoy it because it's not enjoyable, but just know what is going to happen when you're calm and going through this. You're going to get your beautiful baby. Like,
I think this is a really great exercise.
yeah.
It's really good for stress.
It's,
Stress and anxiety.
It's calming when you're going through it. It's really calming. So
Yeah, it is great for it. And then I want you to see what this looks like from the observer's standpoint.
I'm your partner right now, okay?
Help me out on this one. Left, right, and she.
Just close your eyes.
Don't push. Don't push. That was contraction.
Oh shit! I feel it. This is making that weird noise.
What you thinking?
I'm thinking that I'm concentrating.
Mm-hmm.
Just me and this board. What the heck?
Mm-hmm.
Where am I?
Mm-hmm.
Oh heck.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I started over.
Right. That's the same thing Kalia said. Like, wait a minute here.
I went back down. Why am I going back down?
Right?
No. No, don't go back down again.
Mm-hmm. That's right. You're trying to
Not
reason.
again. Yeah.
Yep. Trying to reason, not again.
But too bad, I gotta keep going.
That's right.
Hey,
That's what I thought I was gonna do.
I'm lost.
I
Yeah.
was like, oh, I feel like I'm there.
Never mind, never mind.
There you go.
Oh, yes.
It really
My
takes
baby's
you.
here.
It really takes you on a journey.
Yeah, it really does.
It really takes you on a journey, and I love your
me
honesty.
too.
Like, oh darn it! Oh wait, don't take me back that way.
Yeah.
And that is a lot of what childbirth is like. Or even prepping for labor. Like labor stops, and you're like, we're gonna have a baby today.
Yeah.
And then you're like,
Or
I'm
not.
still pregnant.
They should have made
Oh,
like two
yeah,
more
that's
openings. Stop right here, and then you have Pitocin right here, and you have cesarean over here.
Right?
Nope, not that one.
Wrong one.
Yeah, that's it, right. We should make that,
Yeah,
right?
like no, wrong one,
Yes.
no.
And then we have to do like the
Yes.
blind person and like read the scripture and what kind of thing it is, and you're like,
This is when you gotta think about, what is it, brain?
Yes,
Yeah,
right.
and then you be like, do I want to put my finger back? Like benefits,
Risk, right?
let me ask my partner. I'm gonna call him real quick.
Exactly.
That's gotta be a good
Intervention.
idea.
Yes.
You have to carve your own.
Right.
I think it'd be a good idea.
I think that's a great idea.
Like stop there.
It is.
And it-
So you
This is such a great tool to use with the 4Ps, right?
Mhm.
It really helps bring home that, we're not in control.
Yeah.
We're not in control. And even though we are at the hospital, doesn't mean that we're giving up our control to the hospital. Like, you
Mhm.
still have control.
Mhm.
You still can say no. You still can be the one who makes the final decision for what path you choose. But no matter what path you take, the end result is the birth of your baby.
Mhm.
Bottom line, no matter
That's
what
all
path.
you're thinking about too. You're like, I just want the baby to come out nice and smooth.
Yes. Whatever that
Not all
looks like.
crazy. Yeah.
Right. Whatever that might look like, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So that is your second stage. So second stage is a lot of unknowns, uncertainties, fears, anxieties, and that's where your team, your family, your doula,
your nurse, some of those nurses are amazing, you guys. And if you get a rock star nurse, let me tell you, she will make the difference for your birth.
Yeah.
I promise you she will. So there's a couple of syndromes. Fear, tension, pain syndrome. That's the concept that anxiety in labor causes fear in labor. So your pain increases because you have anxiety and fear. So because you're tense and you're afraid and you're uncertain, it increases the pain. Now, remember when I was running like this? How many miles could I run like this?
Not very
Not gonna
long.
get far.
When you're anxious and you're having palpitations and stuff, if you decided to run out the door and run, how far do you think you're gonna get? You're not gonna get very far.
Yeah.
Right? So fear and anxiety are common when you don't know what birth is gonna feel like. But if you can, the brain is a very sensitive sponge, and it's subjective to suggestions. So if you tell yourself it's going to be painful, it's going to hurt, I'm going to flip out, blah, 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 that's probably the end result.
Yeah.
Probably the end result. But if you begin to recognize that this isn't going to feel well, this is going to be uncomfortable, and the more I can relax, the better this is going to be. People go, how can you relax? It doesn't feel good. Well, your support team,
Yeah.
as demonstrated, can help you release that tension. Okay. There are so many different things that doulas or partners can be taught to do for you to help release that tension. And when you release that tension, you release that fear, that anxiety, you will do well. You will do well. But it's a true syndrome. You know, like if you go get your wisdom teeth taken out, right? You're scared to eat. So you be sucking on potato chips. Roof of your mouth be raw. There ain't no skin left at the top, but you're willing to keep sucking on stuff, right? Because you're afraid that if you, even though the stitches have dissolved, if you go like this,
Yeah.
it's gonna hurt.
Yeah.
But you're willing to sacrifice the roof of your mouth.
Somebody gotta get it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
There you go.
Exactly. So kind of look at it like that. Then we have fight or flight. Now, fight or flight is a response to our nervous system, and it's how we react to stress. So a lot of people will give this example. If a cat is having kittens and you startle her, she'll pick up her kittens, the ones that she's had. She'll stop her labor, she'll pick up her kittens, and she'll go somewhere else. And she'll have her kittens somewhere else. Same thing happens in labor for humans. So if you're afraid of someone or someone has got you nervous or the whole labor process is really scaring you, you might fall victim here. Okay, where you're like, we're just going to shut it off. I have another birth video that I use. A mom had home birth, hurt, she labored great. Then her kids woke up and her labor stopped.
Oh, what?
She was 8 centimeters and it stopped because her kids woke up. So we had to get the kids downstairs with grandma. Her contractions picked up back and shut her maybe 40 minutes later. But it was the fact that her
But you're
kids
like,
were
we
up.
were almost there.
I know. So
Peace and quiet.
yeah. And that's a great example of fight or flight. There was nothing scaring her, but it was the mind knowing that my
Like she's
babies are
gonna
awake.
get to mommy and
Exactly. My babies are awake and they need to be attended
and you're
to.
like, do you realize you're going?
You're gonna have a baby here.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like looking and I'm like, her contractions are like 15 minutes apart. What the? Can y'all feed them babies? Where's grandma? Where is grandma?
Yeah.
Grandma came, grandma fed the kids, they got quiet, and we have baby.
Yeah.
Okay? So, flight or fight, when stuff is going on, your body is built, your nervous system is built to stop things, to compromise, to try to save. But just remember, it happens when you're very stressed or when you're fearful. Okay? So, if something is going on in the hospital, and you do have a doula, or you do, more than likely, they're going to say,
can I ask everybody to leave the room so they can have a conversation with you? Because it really does happen. Things just don't progress. And we can start scratching our head going, what is going on? What is going on here? So my 29-hour birth, kicked everybody out. Mom was like, I don't feel supported. I don't feel supported with my husband. I feel like he has different objectives. And it was like, okay, well, we gotta deal with this. Nothing like having a showdown with family, you know. So we removed everyone from the room and talked to her, then brought him back in and said,
This is what needs to happen.
this is what's going on, you know. And he was like, I wasn't aware that I was doing that. So, I think things picked back up. It was quite nice.
Like for the fight or flight thing, I think that if I was in a situation where I felt like that and I was in the hospital and I felt like either had a rude nurse or something, like I would literally like probably leave and like go somewhere else. Even though I'm going through my contractions and stuff, I'm like, I'm not doing this. You are not helping me. I'm leaving.
And moms do that, and you know what? They can't hold you there.
Yeah, so I'm out.
They can't hold you there. They can't. And moms will leave. And it doesn't happen that often, but you have the right to move on. So.
My sister had a rude nurse, and I was like, I don't see how she could do it. But like you said, she's in her, what is it, the
labor land.
Yeah, and she's just dealing with it.
She
But
can't.
that lady was like,
And that's when
not
you're
very
really
nice.
vulnerable. You know, people really need to be aware of what's going on with these mothers. Yep. Go help yourself. So this is the placenta. I love you, placenta.
I've seen them before too. I've seen like 5 labors before.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome.
And it really does make me want to think about like doing what you do. I love it. It's like beautiful. It doesn't gross me out at all.
I think it's beautiful. And I'm glad you think it's beautiful. And when you have your birth, like I said, just make sure that your family knows this is my birth plan. And y'all gonna behave.
Yep.
This is my plan. Y'all are gonna behave.
I already know how many people I want in there because if there's too many people, I'll freak out.
Yeah.
Because I have so much family.
Yeah.
And they want to be all nosy. So I'm like, no. I'm sorry if you get sad because I don't want to be in there, but I love you. But I don't know.
This is my time.
Yeah.
Right? This is
I don't want to be mean and say, you're not the one I choose to be in there because of this, you know?
And feeling that guilt. And let there be no guilt. Right?
Yeah.
No guilt whatsoever.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, no, they're not. They're the coolest things.
Okay.
So the placenta is the 3rd stage of labor. So that's, baby is born, then the placenta has to be born. But a lot of emphasis are put on the placenta.
Yeah.
And for good reason. But there are other things that are going on in the 3rd stage that need to be equally as important. So the skin to skin that we were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
So as long as you and baby are doing well, that's going to happen. You're both wanting to breastfeed. So that initial latch, babies have a suck, breathe, swallow reflex. But just like other mammals, they will look for the breast. They just bob their little head.
Yeah.
Yep, and they look for the breast. So having babies skin to skin, and they'll lick the skin, and they'll search. But getting that initial latch is really initiating 2 hormones. You already have the oxytocin because that's what's sustaining your labor. But it's at its peak immediately after birth. It's a love hormone.
So that's when you start producing the milk, right?
So then once you hit this peak, that's when you start producing this hormone called prolactin, and that's what tells your body make milk.
Oh.
Yep. So it's these 2 hormones that help tell your body, I need you to do something.
Oh, okay.
Make me some milk, right?
Yeah.
So, you missed the most important part. Just teasing you.
I was like, well, I was listening on the water result because I heard everything else.
So we were just saying that for the 3rd stage of labor, yes, there's a lot of emphasis on the placenta, but more importantly, that skin to skin that we were talking about before, having the initial latch. So babies that are skin to skin with moms, they bob their little heads, they lick, they try to find the breast, which is just absolutely amazing. That's what mammals were born to do. Okay, we're born to feed our babies, and our babies are born to find where it's at. But there are two hormones that are produced, oxytocin and prolactin. The oxytocin is at its peak immediately after birth. It's the only time it hits these levels is immediately after birth. It's a love hormone. And then prolactin is what tells your body, produce milk, please. So this hormone is what initiates your bonding with your baby. Even if you're bottle feeding, just that skin to skin is what initiates your.
It's not that when you hug somebody, it's something else, right? And it releases some.
It's
It's
oxytocin.
That was something else.
Yep. Nope, it's oxytocin. It's the hormone.
The real love.
It is the real life.
The real cute. Yeah, that's what
It is. It is the real life.
So as far as the prolactin, so as far as milk, colostrum, is that how long does colostrum stay? Is it like
3 to 5 days.
Okay.
3 to 5 days. Colostrum is full of immunities, antibodies, things that help produce your baby's immune system. Very small quantities, but just enough for your baby. So just to remember that your baby's belly at birth is the size of that big. Oh my god! So moms go,
Why does it seem like they eat so much?
well, because when they're suckling, that's what's telling the body make more.
Oh, okay.
And if they're not suckling, your body will produce, but it's not going to produce enough to sustain them. So their little tummies are big.
Oh my
So
goodness.
little.
Yeah.
And so moms go, oh, is that colostrum enough? Like I got 2 drops, and I'm like, it's like gold.
Yeah.
Like don't waste those 2 drops. Don't waste those 2 drops, right? So make sure, feel confident that those few drops is enough to sustain your baby.
Okay.
Feel very confident.
Because I would think that too. I would be like, is that enough?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
I know I would.
So family bonding. So we have large families, and everybody wants to come see the baby.
Yes.
So
I already know what my plan is for that.
I love having family introductions, and different cultures require different things. But I am also a strong proponent of having invasion of family members onto a newborn family. It's important that when your baby is born, you've both expressed you want skin to skin, you've both expressed you want to do breastfeeding.
Yeah.
It's important that when they decide to take baby to the warmer to do the assessment, that you remember you might have other family members there, but ultimately that dad needs to start his bonding as well.
Oh, yeah.
So I oftentimes, no matter what birth, I'm like, okay, Dad, take your shirt off. Here's your baby. Love up on that baby. And that's an opportune time. So grandmas, aunties, uncles, cousins, sisters, brothers, they can wait.
Yes.
I feel the same way.
They can wait. Because what's important is that this unit, which consists of mom, dad, baby, needs to start bonding. Okay. So the less interruption, the better. And we're not even going to talk about the introduction of microbes from other family members. You want your baby to be exposed to you and your partner. Okay.
So I have another question. I know skin to skin bonding is important as a mother, especially when it comes to breastfeeding and stuff. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
And right in my
Please
face, though.
eat. I know. Please eat as much as you want.
I know it's important with the mother, but why do dads do skin to skin bonding?
Same reason.
Yeah. I would think so.
They create the same hormone, oxytocin.
And the baby will know, and they'd be like, that's
Well, I wasn't even
daddy.
thinking about the hormone. I was thinking because I'll never forget when I first seen on Snapchat a guy.
Darn internet.
His girlfriend just gave birth, and then I'm like, why is his shirt off at the hospital? This is way before I got pregnant, so I'm like,
And you didn't really
why
understand.
does he have his shirt off? Like, it is not that hot.
Mm.
I'm saying to myself, like, what the heck? But I never, like, then when I got pregnant, I heard about skin-to-skin bonding as far as breastfeeding and it help with your milk production and stuff like that from different people. So then it just raised the curiosity in my mind
Couple
about
things.
the dad.
Mm.
Like, he's not making titty milk.
Mm.
I'm about to blow your mind. Couple things.
I'll hold these for you.
Oh, you forget.
Newborns can blink, they sneeze, they grimace, they have reflexes, but they can't control their thermal regulation. They can't control whether they're hot or cold. I'll tell you how remarkable babies are. If you give a baby that's chilly to their mom or their dad with no shirt on, that baby will regulate to the temperature of that mother within 0.3 degrees.
Wow.
So if your temperature is 98.2, your baby's is going to be 98.2 or 98.1 or 98.0. And same thing if you give baby to dad. Now, then you have the hormone. Oxytocin is great. It reduces depression. It reduces stress. It reduces anxiety. So the same benefits that you're getting, the same benefit dad gets. The only thing that he doesn't produce is the prolactin, which tells the body to create milk. That's it. So the benefits are just as equal to mom as it is to dad, except for lactating. Dad doesn't lactate.
Mm.
But, if you watch Meet the Fockers, we got a rubber booby.
That's true.
Right?
I'm gonna go buy some.
Right? And so we are going to wrap this up with newborn and maternal assessment. So after your baby is born, it's pretty busy around you. They're doing your temperature, your blood pressure, your pulse. The fundus, we call it the fundus, which is the top of the uterus. They're pressing on the fundus, so you're bleeding, get out any clots. So they're checking your fundus. They want to make sure that the uterus does what we call involution, that it's shrinking back, and that it's where it needs to be. Okay?
I've seen that. I always wonder, like, why are they massaging?
And it's
like it looks like it hurts.
Yeah, that's what I feel like.
Depends on your practitioner, depends on your nurses. The other thing about those fundal checks too is assessments are not so bad, but if you're having bleeding that's not controlled, it saves lives. So, yep. The other thing they're doing at this point is laceration checks. So they're looking at the perineum, and they're saying, are there any tears? And they're assessing and saying, do I need to put stitches in these or not? All of this is happening if the placenta is born. All this is happening while they're waiting for the placenta to be born, and then after the placenta, and then they start to prepare.
I heard the placenta when it comes out, it's like another baby.
So when the placenta comes out, it is I don't like it when people say it has no bones. You still feel it.
Yeah.
It doesn't hurt.
It just feels different.
It feels different. But after your baby is born, guess what? You still have contractions.
That's what I heard.
Because
that was my next question.
Your contractions are what gets your baby out, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you have a placenta in your uterus, how is it going to come out?
Contractions.
Exactly. So you
Makes
still have
sense.
contractions. So your baby, sorry. Oh, I'm just So this doll is used with Noelle. So whenever I'm doing a breech birth, I have to take this off so baby can be born booty first. So anyhow, yes, I know. So exactly. So let's say baby is born, okay, and the placenta is still in the uterus, okay, and the cord is still attached. So your body takes a rest, and then it has to go, oh, there's something still in here.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, let's get rid of it. And so you'll start to have contractions again. and then it expels the placenta. But the other thing about those contractions is those contractions are what cause the uterus to go back to its originating size.
Oh.
And so when you're breastfeeding, every time you put your baby to your breast, you're going to feel a contraction every single time. But that's how
Like in your.
you'll feel the contraction in your belly, but every time you put the baby to nurse, you're going to feel a contraction. But that's how your uterus goes from being this big to this big.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So you want to feel those. But your placenta, my little lovely placenta, a lot of times you'll feel cramping. You'll feel a little contraction or something. And then you feel it when it comes out, but it isn't pain like when you were pushing your baby out.
Yeah.
Not at all. The hospitals will do delayed cord clamping, but they will only delay for 2 minutes at a max here in this county. That's about it. That's all you're going to get. They do not look like this when they're born. Leave baby Max alone. But they're doing all of this, and everything from here up is being done immediately. Your repair is done after your placenta is delivered.
How long till after you have the baby that the placenta?
It can happen anywhere within minutes to an hour. The hospital doesn't like it to last more than 30 minutes. They get really impatient with that. And yeah, they get really impatient, which gets really uncomfortable for you because it's not ready and they're trying to take it out and it does not feel good. So, yeah.
Okay.
And ask your physician, how do you feel about placentas? Are you gonna wait? Are you gonna take it out at 30 minutes?
Yeah.
Like, what's your procedure, doctor? Ask.
Okay.
It's better for you to know now
Mhm.
than not know and be shocked and
That it's
traumatized. And it took a long time, and then the treatment, the procedure that they performed to get it out. You don't want to be shocked by that.
Yeah.
So while they're doing this, while you have babies, so we're going to give you baby, and your placenta is still inside. Clea, isn't this a good picture? So you have your baby, right? And everything has gone really good with your baby. So you're going to be talking to your baby, checking your baby out. And the nurse is going to be listening. She's going to have her stethoscope on. She's going to be listening. She's going to be looking at your baby, rubbing your baby's back. And while she's doing that, she's doing all of this. So she's looking at the appearance, she's listening for the pulse, she's seeing if baby's making faces, she's looking for activity and respiration. So this is called the APGAR, okay? It's a scoring from 0 to 10, okay? You want an APGAR of 9, 8, and not a lot of times. APGAR is done at 1 minute and 5 minutes, okay? So if you have a 6 or a 7 APGAR at 1 minute, don't be alarmed. Don't be alarmed, because you'll hear them. They're going to talk about it. They're going to be like, what's 1 minute APGAR? And then at 5 minutes, they'll be like, 10. It's okay. It's that delayed transition. Baby has delayed transition.
Of like the whole.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Whether it be breathing, whether it be tone, each one of these gets a scoring of 2. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10.
Oh,
Okay, they get a score of 0, 1, or 2. Okay, so and you subtract points if the baby's not doing something. So exactly, it's that delayed transition. So don't be alarmed. It's okay. And then 5 minutes, it's like, oh,
it just
it's
takes
10.
a minute because the baby's not going to do all that in like
Some
2
do,
seconds.
some do, some don't.
Yeah.
Some do, some don't. But just know that while there's a nurse doing this to you, there's a nurse doing that to baby. Okay? So they're always monitoring it, both you and baby immediately after birth. Any questions on that? Let's see. We talked about y'all's bags. There goes Crazy Baby. We talked about consent.
Is it normal that the placenta is coming out before the child? No.
No.
Yeah.
Because that's a C-section.
Yeah.
That is an emergency C-section.
It was going down my leg, so I was like, oh.
We're not talking about that.
Yes. Negative.
Yeah. So this is a Waterbury. I don't know why I chose Waterbury picture, but we talked about this. Important transition. So
There are 3 different types of transition going on when babies are born: the physiological, the biological, and the metabolic. So, the brain has to be telling the lungs and the heart to do certain things, and then they have to say, okay, now it's time to metabolize stuff in their belly. Even though a baby has never ate food, you can go listen to their belly and they have bowel sounds. Because while they're in utero, they swallow amniotic fluid, right? But it's the cutest thing. They're an hour old and it sounds like they're starving. Yep. And there are 3 essential stages of survival. So their respiratory, their circulatory, and their thermoregulation. All of that has to be all systems go for babies to survive outside of the uterus. Okay. And then just the last thing is 4th trimester. What's 4th trimester? Postpartum. That's right. That's right. So I'll make this quick and dirty, but there's some things that you need to remember that are important. Sleep hygiene. Your baby's going to be up all the time, so sleep when your baby sleeps. Ain't nobody got time for company. I'm sorry. TV makes it very glamorous, and quite honestly, those first few weeks of motherhood shouldn't be made glamorous. It should be a moment of where you're being attended to by your family, your support system, and you're in the bed and you're nursing your baby and you're eating. That's your job. Your job is to feed yourself, feed your baby, and sleep.
Where's Brandon? He needs to hear this.
I told you.
I'll be calling you later.
I told you. Activity, limit your activity. Rest. No, the most important thing in your life now is your newborn. Okay, there's nothing else more important. So limit your activity. Self-care. It can be isolating to have a newborn. You can feel alone because everybody's like, oh, baby, and then like 7 days later, it gets real quiet. There ain't nobody around,
That's true.
and it can get very isolating. So it's important to have self-care. So it's important to have your community of friends, that are having babies around the same time you are. It's important that you do shower when you feel like it, okay? Because one of the things that nobody tells you about being, after you have your baby, you are leaking from every orifice of your body. You have vaginal fluids coming out. You are sweating a sweat that you've never sweated before. You have breast milk coming out. I mean, you have this issue with, it just doesn't stop, and nobody tells you these things. And just know that it's okay. It's okay. It's okay to say, I need to shower. Here's the baby, and I'm gonna go take a shower. I don't care if he or she cries.
Yes.
I need to take a shower.
How long until after birth can you have take a shower? Like, do you have to wait? Do the
As
doctor
long
say,
as
"Oh, wait,
your blood loss wasn't excessive, you can take a shower that same day.
I think the
in a
only
few
time
hours.
that it'll be like a little bit of issues if you got like the C-section or something.
If you had a cesarean, it's the next day.
Sensitive.
The next day, if you have a C-section or a cesarean. But a vaginal birth, you can have it a couple hours later, as long as your blood loss was minimal and you are stable. Your vital signs are stable. Breast care. So, there are a lot of old wives' tales for breast care. Listen, you already know what to do. You don't need to sanitize. You don't need to do anything special. You just need to know what to do for your breasts so that they don't feel so painful sometimes, or what to do if they're cracked and they're bleeding. Those are the things self-care we need to talk about. Low-key, so after your baby is born, you're going to have bleeding, but that bleeding is coming from the placenta. So remember, when the placenta is adhered, I'm going to spill the placenta. The placenta is adhered to the uterus, okay? And then when the placenta is born, it's like it leaves an open wound. So think about when you were a little kid and you fell off your bike, right? And you skinned your knee. Well, that's what the inside of the uterus looks like.
Wow.
Okay? So it's a wound and it's bleeding, okay? And so when you have those contractions, you're cutting off the blood supply. So every day it's a little less, it's a little less. So it's called lochia, okay? But what that does is it changes color over time. It changes from bleeding to the shedding of the cells. Basically, it's like you're shedding the scab.
Okay, so it goes from red to brown to pink to yellow to clear and then gone. The less that you do, the quicker that goes away.
Okay.
So the longer that you're in the bed doing this and eating and drinking,
Mhm.
the less you have to deal with this.
Okay.
Okay, so just be aware of that. Intimacy, your OB will tell you no intercourse until 6 weeks. I would strongly recommend talking to your partners now about birth control.
Yeah.
What decisions you guys want to make. Because some of that you can talk about with your OB before your baby is born.
You could get birth control when? Like, do you have to wait 6 weeks or
Depends
something?
on your doctor.
Oh, okay.
Depends on your doctor. If you're wanting an IUD, they usually will place it at your 6-week checkup.
Oh, okay.
Yep, so it depends on your doctor. Okay? So
Okay.
just think about what kind of birth controls you guys want to use. Okay? If you choose. I'm not saying that you have to if you choose. Social emotional, you might not feel like nothing is wrong with you, but your partners might be like, she cry. Right? Their opinion of you may look drastically different from what you think you're doing.
Yeah.
Okay, or even your mom or your sisters or cousins, they might be like, she ain't wrapped too tight. If that's the case, don't be offended. Postpartum blues is normal, especially around day 3 when there's a hormonal shift in your milk production, transitions from colostrum to milk. Moms are very emotional. That lasts about 7 days. But anything that's lasting more than that, we need to look a little closer at postpartum depression. And the most severe is postpartum psychosis. So we need to be clear that it's not a horrible thing, but we also need to be clear that it's not good for you. And if you're not well, you can't take care of your baby, so we need to make sure that you're okay.
Yeah.
And if you're not okay,
That's scary a little bit.
yes, it's very real. And moms who are suffering will tell you there is nothing wrong. But everybody else is going,
that. Yeah.
Newborn care. So newborn care, babies don't need a whole lot. Are you guys going to have your babies bathed after they're born, or are you going to not have them bathed after they're born?
I didn't know there was.
Yeah,
So
I didn't know. I didn't know.
I would have
the
my baby
option.
bathed after.
It's totally up to you. It's your decision to decide what's important.
Do they
to you.
ask you or?
No, you have to tell them.
Oh, they're like,
So your birth plan, in your birth plan, you would
Okay.
give that to the hospital and say, do not bathe my baby. Some women choose not to have their babies bathed for the simple fact of 2 things. They are breastfeeding, and babies are not dirty.
Okay.
Yeah.
They're not dirty. When you see that creamy stuff on their skin,
Oh, that's good.
it's good.
Yeah.
Rub it in.
Yeah.
Let that
what
burn
I
it.
heard.
It's good stuff. Okay,
Mhm.
it's really good for their skin. Rub it in. Don't rub it off.
Okay.
They don't smell. They don't
Okay.
smell at all. So I had a birth in August, and Dad is like 6'5". I mean, just huge.
Mhm.
And so anyhow, he gets baby in his hands, and he's like, "She smells so good." And I'm like, "Yes, yeah." Like he's like, "You guys are not watching my baby." I was so proud of him because he knew. There's no reason. She's brand new.
Yeah.
So for that family, it was important not to. There are other families who are like, "No, I don't want to hold my baby until my baby is wiped up." And then when is she getting or he getting a bath? So you have to figure out what your
I think
preferences are.
maybe I won't do that.
It depends on what your preferences are.
Yeah.
And keep in mind, we are mammals, so our babies know our smells,
Yeah.
and you will know your baby's smell.
Yeah, that's cute.
So
I would
just
be like, do I smell a little bit like being
and even if you do, they're like,
yeah, they're like,
where's
"Mama."
that? Where's that?
Yeah.
And so then we have sibling interactions. So the sisters, you guys first, you don't have to worry about that. They will do in the hospital hearing screening. So they'll come in. There are these earmuff thingies that they put on the ears. They press a button, and it gets radio
For a baby?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
And it tells whether or not baby has hearing loss. Hearing loss is really important. It changes how baby interacts in life. If they
Ears
can't
are
hear.
sensitive.
Yes.
Babies.
Yeah. It's a very low tone, but the brain wave activity is recorded through a radiographic line.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So it doesn't hurt babies. Babies sleep right through it.
Mm-hmm.
And they'll come and do that. It takes like 2 to 3 minutes if baby's sleeping.
Mm-hmm.
If they're awake, it could take a while.
You get angry.
Yeah, exactly. They're moving
You're
around.
like, okay, get off.
Yep, so hearing screening. The PKU is something that you can consent or deny. It's a prick of the skin on the baby's foot. This is what they test for sickle cell, any kind of metabolic, so disorders that are related to the metabolic system.
Oh, okay.
So that's what that is. Some parents, you'll get a handout at the hospital,
Okay.
but you can ask for information ahead of time.
Mm-hmm.
If you haven't found a pediatrician, I would recommend looking for a pediatrician now so you can start those conversations now. But remember, you have the right to refuse anything for you or your baby. Vitamin K is a shot that newborns would receive if you so choose to have it. Babies can have, they don't have vitamin K. They don't make it. It takes 6 months before they begin to make it on their own.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're breastfeeding, they don't have it.
Oh,
So they can have bleeding, just from trauma, just from being born.
whoa.
And so when that does happen, it can be quite devastating for those kids. But again, it's your choice. So ask the pediatrician to give you information so you can make a decision.
Oh, okay.
And then hospital admission. So baby is admitted to the hospital as their own person, but under you. Baby gets a band, daddy gets a band, mom gets a band.
Mhm.
Not grandma, not mima, not opa, not papa, nobody else. That's it. You guys get bands and that's it. And then after that, you get to go home if you're doing well, usually 24 to 48 hours, just depending on how you're both doing. And that's when the fun begins.
Oh, heck.
Yeah.
That's when you're alone.
And that's when you pull the Lambert back out. And you go, just like your birth. I don't know where I'm going. I don't know what I'm doing. Oh, this sounds like an 80s rock song. Here I go again on my own. Going down the only road. Like a drifter, I was born. I'm telling you, there's many lows, but there's many highs there. So, but at any rate, what questions do you guys have for me?
I don't have any questions. I think we pretty much went through all of my questions when we were going from slide to slide.
Cool.
So I don't have any. You know,
Yeah.
unless one comes to me before you leave, and I'll be like, wait a minute.
That's okay. So just remember, this isn't a full childbirth edge class. It was just one section kind of focused around hospital, place of being for when you have your baby.
I think that's mostly what I would be nervous about anyways. Like, there's not any other things that I could think of that makes me more nervous than when the baby's going to come out.
Mm-hmm. Right. And there is some, in the full childbirth edge class, we do talk about positions. We do talk about in great detail what that looks like, what that feels like. So like I said, if you want to come back for another class, the full class, you're more than welcome to. So, all right, well, I think our time is up. And guess what, guys? That's 2 hours and 3 minutes. So I'm going to sign us off.